Hold it steady, Mo.
Into the ball game as Paul McKeskey has become kind of a cult hero in Milwaukee, Tommy.
And, and good evening, everybody. Welcome to We Got Next. I'm Ricky Hampton, and that's Paul McKeskey coming to you from Big Mo's Beach Club. Live in living color.
I can't get to the show right now. I'm at the pool. It's 70 degrees, Ricky.
Everybody in Detroit, Milwaukee, Mo's making fun of you, man. Oh my goodness. Welcome everybody. We're gonna have a little this will be a fast break edition of We Got Next tonight. We're only gonna go a half hour. We got some other commitments going on. But even though it's a shorter show tonight, Mo, still a lot to pack in over the weekend. Let's start off with what's going on in your city of Las Vegas with the Emirates Cup. And before we get in the game, what's been the flavor around having the NBA in town?
I think it's really exciting. I think the Emirates Cup has turned out like Adam Silver wanted it to. Players are taking it really serious. I went to the games Saturday, both games, and there was between 17 and 18,000 people at both games. The teams played really hard. I talked to a lot of sports writers, Mark Spears from ESPN and some other guys, and they all agreed with me. It felt like a playoff atmosphere almost. Yeah. And part of that is because the teams that are involved, right? I mean, the Spurs are battling OKC, the best team in the West, and New York and Knicks are trying to get it together to prove that they're the best team in the East, and we're playing Orlando. So there was definitely a playoff feel in the games. They played hard, man. It was, I'm kind of jaded, right? I don't want to watch bad basketball, and both games Saturday were really, really good.
I know, Mo. Nobody hates bad basketball worse than you.
I just leave, Ricky. I'll just leave.
Hey, Mo, a lot of former NBA players in town for this?
Oh, yeah. Here's a picture for you. Chris Paul was here, and he was sitting next to Tony Parker on the court, two of the best point guards ever. It was really cool. There's many football and NBA guys here, and it's just a great feel in the town, and it was kind of like the place to be seen in Vegas on Saturday with so much going on.
Yeah. Vegas is a hell of a town, man, for sure. And Mo, I think the NBA is going to Vegas for a reason. I think eventually basketball is coming there. The NBA is coming there.
I would think so. I talked to a lot of people again. I saw some old friends I hadn't seen for a long time, and talked to Stan Van Gundy a little bit, and the general consensus is that the NBA in the next 2 or 3 years should be here. But again, we talked about this, Ricky, before. When I first got here 8 years ago, I told people the NBA would be in Vegas in the next 5 years, and they haven't been here. So, I think it should come here, but NBA does some different things every once in a while.
And everything is in place except for a team. It's a couple of arenas there where they could play, correct?
Well, they play in T-Mobile, the arena where the Emirates Cup is. I mean, it holds 20,000. It's a mid to upper level NBA arena right now, but they also have two or three other groups that are talking about building NBA arenas with hotels and casinos if they get okayed. So I would think a team would play in T-Mobile, which is a more than adequate NBA arena. It's beautiful. It's where the Golden Knights play, NHL. They won the cup there, and there's concerts there all the time. And then in the process, I think a new arena specifically for the team would probably be built within the next 2 or 3 years once they're announced.
And we want to welcome everybody in. I see everybody starting to pour in here to We Got Next. Welcome, everybody. Send us your questions and comments. Hey, Mo, outside of Madison Square Garden, which every NBA player loves to play, did you have a favorite place to go play?
Well, even though the court was horrible, I liked the Boston Garden, the old Boston Garden, because the rims were really soft and shots go in all the time. I liked the LA Forum because I grew up in LA and watched the Lakers play there for many, many years. So, there's only one old arena left, and that's Madison Square Garden. And I did have my best game there, 23-12. So, I like the old arenas, but they're not around anymore.
Hey, Paul, the Garden really had dead spots.
Oh, yeah. Many. Yeah, absolutely. And screws stuck out of the floor, uneven court. Yeah, absolutely. Yeah. I mean, one of the things, Don Nelson was my coach in Milwaukee, and before playoff series, he would always have at the practice, everybody grab a basketball and dribble around because he knew you got to know where the soft spots are. I mean, guys like Larry Bird and Dennis Johnson, those guys would push Sidney Moncrief or Terry Cummings into those dead spots. So you'd be dribbling the ball and all of a sudden, punk, it wouldn't come up to it.
Nothing like the Garden. Absolutely. But again, welcome everybody to We Got Next. I'm Ricky Hampton with Paul Mokeski. Mo, let's start with San Antonio. OKC is a runaway train until they see the Spurs. And what is it the Spurs have been able to do other teams haven't?
Well, I think, with Wemby healthy now, he didn't start the game. He came off the bench. I think he only played 21 minutes, but he had 22 points, 9 rebounds, and I think he blocked 2 or 3 shots, but altered like 5. So I think OKC is used to getting into the paint, be able to shoot over people. He can't shoot over Wemby. And I think San Antonio, they're very athletic. They're young. They play hard. They push the pace a little bit. They play similar to OKC. And, I didn't believe this till Saturday. San Antonio's bench is almost up to par with OKC's bench, which is saying a lot. I think OKC has one of the best benches in the league, and they got their rookie point guard Harper back. He didn't start, but he played 20 minutes, and that makes them even deeper. So sometimes some teams have other teams' number a little bit.
Yeah, and if they meet up later in the playoff, I'm sure you would favor OKC to beat them.
Yeah, I think in the long run, I think, OKC's older, more mature, obviously the defending champion. But I'm telling you what else affects them. Holmgren is 7-3 or 4, whatever he is. Wemby blocked a shot twice last Saturday. Went up and blocked a shot. And, I was standing on the court watching Wemby an hour before the game warm up. And I didn't get to stand right next to him, but I was pretty close to him. He's a legitimate 7'4", maybe 7'5", but his arm span is probably 7'7", 7'8". So he's gained about 15 pounds. His arms look bigger, his shoulders, his legs are still really skinny. They look like, sticks, his legs, but his upper body's getting stronger. And, I played against, Mark Eaton, who's 7'4". I played against Manute Bol, who's 7'7". I coached Sean Bradley in Dallas at 7'5". Wemby's all of that and more athletic and can really, he can handle the ball. He shoots threes. He's a good shot blocker. He doesn't rebound as well as I would hope he would, but, he is they use the unicorn, on Porzingis, I think. So I don't know what you call him, the alien, I guess. I don't know.
He had in 20 points, he had 22 points, 9 rebounds, 2 assists, hit his only 3-pointer, and was 9 of 12 from the free throw line.
Yeah, he didn't come in till the second quarter, and everybody was looking to see if he was going to come in, and he came in, and he looked rusty. He was pushed around. He fell down. His timing was off. But then in the second half, he really picked it up. He could see he kind of felt it better. And some of the people around me, some of my friends were saying, "Why didn't they start him? They should start him." I said, "There's a reason for that. You let the first 12 minutes of the game go by, and now you're only going to play him 20, 25 minutes. Now you can play him in a shorter time frame, so he plays most of those other minutes." And it was really a smart idea, and it worked. Once he came in the game, especially in the second half, the whole attitude of San Antonio Spurs kind of changed, and they were really becoming the aggressor, which is tough to do against Oklahoma City, who, come on, man, they're 24-1 until they lost Saturday. That's unbelievable. Now they're 24-2. They're on the downslide
now. and you know who helps them too is Fox.
Yeah. I mean, he came in and he fits right in. He had 22 points, I think, but he's a veteran. He knows how to get his shot off. They have Vassell, who had 23. Castle had 22. Barnes didn't play great, 6, but Fox came in and had 22, and Wemby had 22. That's all around scoring. And Hartenstein had, I think, 10 points and 9 boards, or so, doing his thing. And they know what they are. And I don't know if Wemby got him out of whack a little bit on Saturday, but they're gonna figure it out. And it was a really good game.
That's going to really be fun to keep an eye on. And we got such a long way to go, Mo, but I think this spring the playoffs are going to be fantastic. A lot of very interesting matchups, possibilities to come, because there's a lot of good teams out there.
Yeah, I mean, we're talking about San Antonio stepping up to OKC's level. What about Denver too? They're there. The Lakers are kind of in that area too. So, there's some reckoning to go on in the West for sure.
I guess the demise of LeBron James at 41 was a little premature.
Yeah. I mean, I don't know. I saw him run down full court and run down the guy and block his shot from behind, kind of like he was 34 or 24.
Absolutely, they're playing well. They got Reeves is out, but they were still able to hold on and beat the team with Dylan Brooks. What's the team with Dylan?
Phoenix.
Yeah, Phoenix, who had beat them a couple of weeks ago. So they got a little payback there. The other half of the Emirates Cup, the Knicks took on Orlando. Orlando doesn't have Wagner. And I was just reading about Banchero. Mo, he's shooting 26% from three-point land. And he was 0-7 the other night. He shooting 26% from the year. A guy that's that talented in the mid-post, why is he going out there shooting that many?
Because they were banging the crap out of him. It was very physical. And, with Towns and Robinson and Anunoby, those guys were physical. They're men. And, you gotta bulk up to get in there. And, Banchero's is a better shooter than that. He's been banged up this year too. He kind of looked a little wobbly the other night, even though, he had 25 points. But, it's easy for guys like you, Ricky, to say, hey, why don't you take it to the basket until you run into Robinson and Towns and those dudes, or me.
Yeah, that's true. That's why I asked you. And Brunson, 40 points, 16 to 27 from the field, 6 and 9. It is incredible how this guy is able to get buckets out there. I mean, what did the guy from Rocky say? You're 5'0" nothing, 100 and nothing. Although Brunson's put together pretty good, but he's not a big guy. But he's very clever.
No, he's a big guy. Like, he's big this way. I mean, he's not tall, but he's a big guy, and he knows how to use his body. He hits people first, it's funny to watch Jason Hart give him crap for being,
Yeah, did you see that? Yeah.
5'0" and has a big head. And,
Yeah.
But I was sitting. That's the first time I think I've seen Brunson in person, and I was sitting in second row, media row, and got to see. He's so clever with his body. He just never rushed. He takes his time. He gets into people. He throws his floater up there. He finishes. He's never out of control. And, I played with one of the best under 6 foot players ever, Calvin Murphy. And he was phenomenal about how he could get a shot off. Brunson does it a different way, but I mean, he had the crowd in awe Saturday. They were mesmerized by him. And, because he just goes slow motion and hitting somebody's body and laying it in, and how come no one can block his shot? We don't know. He just sits there, and he just could do whatever he wanted on the floor. And Orlando threw everything they could at him, but just didn't have enough. Everyone here was thinking that it was going to be the Knicks versus OKC, kind of a NBA Finals preview maybe. But I think the Knicks and the San Antonio game is going to be very interesting tomorrow night to watch. But the Knicks are the real deal. Robinson comes off. He's blocking shots left and right. He's a physical, specimen. Bridges playing for them. They have this little white kid, Kolek, played at Marquette, and he came in, made a couple layups, got a steal, laid it in. The crowd was going crazy for him. He's kind of a spark plug off the bench. It's interesting because everybody's saying how Brown is using his bench, more than last year. They got used last year, and that's what. But I looked at the minutes. Hart played 31. Anunoby, who had a great game, 24 and 6. And the other thing I noticed by watching him and being in person, he's only like 6'5", 6'6".
Yeah.
He's not a forward. He's more like Anthony Edwards of Minnesota. That's what he's built like. He had 24. Played 40 minutes. Towns played 37. Brunson played 39. Bridges played 43. So, you're using your bench a lot more. Well, you use them a little bit more.
Right. Hey, is there an ideal number of minutes to play your starters?
I think every starter is different and depends on the individual. Some players, that starters in the league wear out if you play them too many minutes at a time, and you figure that out. So if I can play player X and he gets tired after 7 straight minutes, I got to take him out and get him back in. Then there's somebody else, player Y, who, if I take him out too early and I try to put him back in, he can't get started again. It takes him a while. So I'm going to leave him in for, 10 straight minutes. So I think every player is different. Brunson can play pretty much forever, but he does get beat on a little bit. Towns is the same way. So you got to kind of watch, but I think it's, I used to tell people, you got 12 guys on the roster, the active roster, but really in an NBA game, you play 8.5 guys. So you play your starters, then you play a backup for the guards, a backup for the wings, and a backup for the bigs. That's 8. Then you play one other guy a little bit, maybe 10 to 15 minutes in the game, whether it's a knockdown three-point shooter, a defensive specialist, a rim protector, whatever that guy is. And that's really all that played meaningful minutes in the NBA game.
You said something, my friend Ray Scott, former Pistons coach of the year. He used to tell me about Ish Smith, veteran guard, good player, played 10 to 12 years in the NBA. So you watch Ish, he said for 15 minutes, man, he looked like one of the best guards in the NBA. You leave him in there 17 minutes, he might be the worst guard in the NBA. It's like is that true, the guys?
Well, and it depends on how those minutes are distributed, right? I mean, if you play somebody, say you play somebody that's not used to playing 10 straight minutes in an NBA game, and then you take them out and try to put them back in, and they're only used to playing 4 or 5 minutes at a time, their gas tank's not gonna be able to fill up like some other guys. You know, it's different for different people. So you got all the coaches, and they have people on the staff that monitor that stuff. And now there's even electronic stuff they can put on the body to see how much energy how hydrated you are, and all this scientific stuff. But in the long run, it's the eye test of an experienced coach that could say, hey, this player, we need to. And a lot of times you'll see it. I saw it last night. Chris Jensen, a good friend of mine, he's associate head coach of the New York Knicks. And I can't remember if Anunoby or someone was getting tired, and he walked up to Coach Brown and whispered in his ear and went and sat down, and they took him out. So a lot of times it's the assistant's job to say, hey, coach, and whoever, he needs a rest right now. Let's give him a break. And you'll see assistant coaches signal for guys on the bench to go in, once they get the okay.
Hey, Mo, so unless you Will Chamberlain or Moses Malone, everybody got an empty tank on them in the NBA.
Michael Jordan's tank wasn't empty much. Larry Bird's, Magic, a lot of guys. I mean, guys like when I coached in Dallas, Dirk Nowitzki, Steve Nash never had an empty tank. He was one of the best in shape guys I've ever seen. There's a conditioning test. It's called the beep test. So what you do is you get on one end of the court and you run to the other end and you run back, and you keep doing that. And every time you got to run it by the beep. So it's beep, 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 and you just run it for as long as you can keep up with the beep. And most guys can whatever. There's kind of there's a formula for if you're in shape or you got to get in better shape. Steve Nash, they ran out of freaking beeps. He just kept beep, 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 beep.
This Chris, hey, Paul Mokeski and Baines, 115 degrees. Is there no humidity in your pool? Are you cold even out there?
70 degrees, baby. It's sunny.
Must be nice, man. Must be nice. Yeah, we got the Emirates Cup going on. We got a championship game coming up. What else is on your mind, Mo?
Well, I think
what else is
there's I think in next week, or I'm not sure the specific date, but coming up pretty quick is a trade that 90% of the
December 15th, tomorrow, today.
So 90% of the league players are tradable then. And there's different rules you have, so you can't trade them in this time period or that time period. So it's going to be interesting for the teams that are struggling. How do they think they can make a move and get back in the hunt? Or is it time to pull the plug like Washington or the Brooklyn Nets or, someone that's out of it? Is it time to do some wholesale changes and maybe get younger and get some draft picks and get better contracts and get rid of high-level contracts? So there's going to be some movement here before Christmas to see. It's going to be interesting to me to see who makes those moves and how big time they are. A lot of times in the NBA, somebody's traded for somebody else. You don't even know who they are. What's that guy? I don't know. But recently, in the last couple of years, the NBA has had big names. I mean, just go back last year to Luka, being traded. So I think NBA teams and front offices and owners are not afraid to trade star players as much as they used to be. So it's going to be interesting, who in the hunt that's still kind of struggling, who wants to move up, is going to make a move for a big time player, and what lower level teams are going to try and dump some salaries.
Check this out. This is from Sam Quinn of CBS Sports. Stars likely available: Giannis, Anthony Davis, Markkanen from he's out in Utah, Trae Young, Sabonis with the Kings, Ja Morant's on this list, and Zion Williamson, the number 1 and 2 pick of the, I forgot the year, draft on the pick. LaMelo Ball, are the top 8 possible trades, with Kawhi Leonard and James Harden following that up. Those are some big names, and more with some big salaries. The cheapest salary on here of those guys mentioned is LaMelo Ball's at $37 million.
Yeah, and that's why people this isn't like fantasy league. You got to trade salary for salary. You can't just we're going to get a $50 million guy and give him $12 million back. It doesn't work that way.
Right.
So you got to really work the numbers, and that's why a lot of times there's 3 and 4 teams involved in these trades because of the salary cap. So of those names, Harden and Kawhi are going to be wholesales. The Clippers are doing Clipper things. They've never made it. They're spending, so much money. And Ballmer, the owner, has to be like, okay, let's dump these guys, see if some team will take them, absorb most of their salary. The Clippers might have to pay some and get some young talent that's going a different direction. Out of all those names, obviously Giannis is a name, but if I'm like the Golden State Warriors or someone like that, I'm looking at Sabonis then. Sabonis is a 6'9", 6'10", legitimate big, high IQ, good passer, good rebounder, good defender, really physical, that the Warriors, you would fit in right with the Warriors. So if I'm the Warriors, I'm packaging up, who's the young guy?
Kuminga?
Yeah, packaging Kuminga, who hasn't played the last 2 games, by the way, and packaging him up with some other drafts or young guys, and I'm going to get Sabonis. If we're going to make a run at this thing while Curry is still be able to run up and down the floor, then I'm going to make that move now and see if we get a couple more years.
Yeah, that's really interesting. So we'll keep out. And you mentioned the Clippers with Harden and Kawhi probably being available at wholesale. Only thing with Kawhi, you never know when he's going to play. And the Clippers do not have their draft pick this year. It's not protected. OKC gets it of all people.
Of course they do. Yeah, I mean, OKC could get the top pick in the draft. They have a couple picks that could be up there. So, NBA teams don't like to do it, but at some point you got to decide this isn't working. It's not working. Kawhi's not working. Harden's not working. We're spending all this money. The thing is, they're going to have to absorb some of their contracts because they make too much. The Milwaukee Bucks are paying $22 million a year for the next 4 years to Damian Lillard for not playing.
Dang.
$22 million a year. So that's kind of the situation the Clippers are going to be with those 2 guys. But time to pull the plug and do something. Because they got that brand new arena. They're trying to get excitement, and this isn't cutting it. So let's get some younger, more energy guys and see what happens.
Now, Mo, Steve just said the Bucks are stinko, and they're not playing very well. But Mo, who would be the best fit? We're not talking money or anything like that right now. I'm just talking about on the court. Who does Giannis? He obviously helps everybody. He's a really good player. But is there a system that you would like to see how that would work out with him?
Well, I don't know. He said this summer he would think about going to the Knicks or whatever. And after watching them play, if I'm the Bucks, I want Anunoby, who that guy's the real deal. I like him. Maybe some other player and some draft picks. But then you got to think on the other end of this. So you bring Giannis into New York Knicks, and they got Anthony Towns, and they have Brunson, who handles the ball all the time. That's his deal. That's his deal. And now you're going to bring Giannis in, who dribbles the ball down the floor himself. I just don't think it's a good fit. So you kind of got to need a team that, maybe younger, that wants to get up and down the floor, play more open style. Because Giannis isn't an execute plays guy, half court guy. He's not that. He's a get up and down the floor guy. So, some people are saying OKC. Why would you've lost 2 games. You're 24-2. Why would you make a move that's just not smart? And you got 20 draft picks coming up, so you don't need that. Maybe you probably wouldn't like it. Maybe Sacramento. You have him go to Sacramento and be in a freewheeling offense, put some people around him. And, if I'm the Bucks, I want Sabonis then. Give me Sabonis and a couple draft picks, and maybe I make that deal. But someone like Sacramento, who's more open style, up and down, that kind of offense. Because you got to realize that when you bring in an impactful player like Giannis is, he handles the ball, he scores, he goes to the basket, there's all this stuff. But that's going to take away from a lot of guys on your team that have been doing that all year, or for years. So,
Steve just mentioned that Spurs would be a good fit.
No.
So not enough room for he and Wemby.
Well, I mean so you just drafted Harper, who's a really nice young point guard. You got 3 of the last rookie of the years in Vassell and Wemby and the other kid, and you're going to throw Giannis in the mix. Guess what? You got to give up 3 of those guys. Then now where are you?
Yeah,
you just beat the best team in the league. You just beat them. Beat them. So you're gonna trade away probably 5 draft picks, but you still got 15 left. That's okay. But now you're going to take 3 of your starters, or at least 2 of your starters, and send them away and hope Giannis fits in. I'm not making that move.
The Twin Towers.
No, you don't.
Steve, your GM days, man, I don't know about that. There was a rumor about Anthony Davis coming to Detroit, and there was also talk of Giannis. Detroit could use a big guy, but I would hate to give up some of these guys and all the money you got to pay these guys.
A lot of these guys on OKC, on San Antonio, on not OKC anymore, but San Antonio and in Detroit, they're on their rookie contracts.
Yeah.
So they're making $9, $10, $11 million, which is nice, but it doesn't compare to $57 million that Giannis is making. Right. So if I'm Detroit, rather than do that, I'm going to give up one good player, a young player, and then some draft picks and try and get Sabonis. How would Sabonis fit in with Detroit?
Oh my God!
Perfect.
Yeah. Well, Mo, it's the half hour already, man.
Wow.
Yeah.
That's fast, man.
Yeah, well, it's always hell is fast when it's an hour, so it's going to be fast. We have so much fun talking. We're going to get out of here, but we'll be back next Monday. Do we want to do a show Christmas week, Mo?
I don't know. Let's talk about it.
Let's talk about it. Stay tuned. You can go to our Facebook page. We got Knicks on Facebook.
Rest in peace, Detroit Lions, Kansas City Chiefs, and probably the Green Bay Packers.
Oh, the Packers still going to get in. The Packers get in.
They lost Parsons, though.
Yeah,
towards ACL.
Steve thinks they're done, too. So, we'll see. But, hey, have a great week, everybody. Talk to you later, Mo.
All right, man.
For Paul Mokeski, I'm Ricky Hampton. Thank you, everybody. Talk to you next week.
Oh, Canada.
Put on a suit, drink water, don't drink and drive. Hey, man, call your mother.
It means nothing. It means nothing.
Nah, they lying to you. It's about the money.
Now you're more fluent.